I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want inside. I imagine we fell in love.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. Today we continue our exploration of the legendary Arc 5 decks, but we find ourselves in a strange position. See, the deck in front of you is fine, but will be massively improved by the November release of an Overframe. However, by the time that releases, the tunes will be out, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be in a state of unplayable if you deign to synchro summon a non-Elf Note monster. Promising, right? Presenting Speedroid.
No, stay focused. Speed.
So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. As we settle into the 2026-2027 season of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, it pays to stay ahead. And whether you're competing at a YCS, a local, or even a European event, there's only one place you can keep totally up to date with what's topping. If you're not into competitive, you're in luck. It's also the most robust site around for drafting, sealed play, collection management, and new card releases. There's a reason nearly every other piece of Yu-Gi-Oh! Infrastructure pulls, at least in part, from their database. Head to the source at YGOPRODECK.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's slip into Speedroid. Speedroid's always been a frustrating deck for me. The tools this wind synchro strategy have, Tear Top, Cork, Rubber Band, are some of the best support cards given to any archetype ever. They've spent a few formats knocking, or Daruma knocking, if you will, on the door to the meta by virtue of crossover playables like Kashtira Unicorn and Baron de Fleur. Of course, those cards have been hit, on and off, repeatedly, and nothing has yet solved their ultimate issue, the lack of an end board through interaction. At present, the best you can do is their thematic big-ass synchro, Crystal Wing, and the recently released Jourjois. And the problem may even get worse as time passes, as many are forecasting the lack of Crystal Wing in the legendary Arc 5 decks proves it's not long for this world. Regardless, I love giving this deck a shot. DARUMAKNOCKER is another card I cannot believe exists, a veritable circular for the archetype. It enables truly heinous combos, adds layered interaction to your end board, and does not resolve any of the deck's outstanding problems. Do you know how many strategies would kill for a card like this? Instead, here it is useful, but won't be as powerful for the deck as a Barone with the serial numbers filed off would have been. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, our Speedroids. 3 copies of Speedroid DARUMAKNOCKER, which, if in your hand, can send a Speedroid from your deck to the graveyard, except Speedroid DARUMAKNOCKER, for cost. Special summon this card. Also, you can't special summon for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Speedroid spell trap from your deck to your hand. Then if you control a clear wing monster, you can destroy a monster on the field. After that, we've got 3 copies of Speedroid Tear Top, 3 copies of Speedroid Takatamborg, 3 copies of Colonel Clackers, which was not in the legendary Arc 5 decks. I don't know why. 3 Marble Machine, 1 Speedroid Wing Synchron, 1 Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice, 1 Denden Daiko Duke, and 1 Car Turbo. We are also playing 1 copy of Shinna Twin Tempests of Celestial Thunder with 2 additional copies in the board. For spells and traps, we are on 1 Speedroid Scratch, 1 Speedroid Duplicate, and 1 Speedroid Clear Wing Wonder. Now, one upside to this strategy is in recent months, it has been able to play more non-engine. So we are on Ashes, Ogres, Fooloses, Forbidden Droplets, a Tactics, a Called by the Grave, and triple Dominus Purge. In the extra, we've got 2 Over Synchro Dragon, 1 normal Synchro Dragon, 1 High Speedroid Clear Wing Rider, 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, for now at least, a Dragoonity Knight Arius, a Dragoonity Knight Lewin, and our Dragoonity Lord Georges, some Clear Wings, here a Synchro Dragon, a Fast Dragon, and then some Speedroids, a Hagoita, Glider number 2, High Speedroid Puzzle, Cork, and High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter, a card whose text might as well read, Please Negate Me. In the side, we've got Triple Solemn Authority, a Solemn Judgment, and an Anti-Spell. We've also got Forbidden Crowns, Droll and Lockbirds, Perulia, and our second and third copies of Shinna. So with that, let's check out some games. Our first match is up against Malice, and thank the Lord that our opponents opened a bunch of Bystials that are going to do less than nothing. We have opened DARUMAKNOCKER, so let me show you what it can do. We're going to begin with a copy of Tear Top. We'll activate the effect of the Tear Top for a Marble Machine. Then we'll normal the Marble Machine into an Ash Blossom. No big deal, no big deal. From here, we can activate the effect of the DARUMAKNOCKER, sending a Speedroid Duplicate. Then afterwards, we can use the Duplicate effect effect targeting the marble machine and summoning itself back on our way to Hagoita. We'll trigger the effect of the Darumanocker and grab ourselves a scratch on our way to Rubber Band Shooter, whose effect we will use in order to grab a Denden Daiko Duke and send that copy of Red-Eyed Dice. We'll go for the Denden Daiko Duke here, bring back the Red-Eyed Dice, then use its effect targeting the Terror Top to modulate it so we can make a Cork Shooter. Cork Shooter here allows us to summon back the monsters used for its Synchro Summon, then we can use Red-Eyed Dice to modulate again, moving the Cork Shooter before we scale Colonel Clackers and activate its effect to scale Speedroid Wing Synchron. We'll make a Clear Wing Synchro Dragon and trigger the effect of all of our Pendulum monsters, here summoning out another Colonel Clackers and binning the trap on our way to Over Synchro and Glider number 2. We'll use Glider to bring back Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, Hagoita to bring back itself, and then make a Dragoonity Lord Georges. We'll summon out a Lewin into a High Speedroid Clear Rider so that we can equip to the Georges and use Rider's effect for 3 in order to shuffle back. We'll pass back to our opponent, and they will draw one card too little too late here, the Dominus Impulse. They'll begin with a Malice in the Mirror, targeting our Over Dragon, then use the effect of the March Hare to add it back, then normal summon it for a copy of Lingaribo. We'll use the effect of Speedroid Clear Wing Wonder here, alongside the effect of the Georges, in order to make both an Over Dragon and an Aureus. They'll go for the Bestials, and we'll just go ahead and negate them. Down comes the Baldrake, and that will be successful, enabling them to make it to SP Little Knight, but that is not enough. Down goes Georges. We'll trigger the effect of Lewin, equipped to our Aureus, and then draw for turn with 1,000,000 attack points on board. We'll go to the battle phase and get in for well over lethal. So that's how the deck performs on the play, but what does it do on the draw? Well, shockingly, still a lot. Our opponent of Game 2 is playing Branded, and they are on the play with 2 copies of Fuelos, thank you. They're going to go for a Luber here, grab themselves a copy of Branded and High Spirits. We will Ash Blossom it, happy that we aren't going to have to see Walbaz this game. Unfortunately, the next card they activate is Dear Servant, so we will. They'll go the Dragon that Devours the Dogma and Titaniclad into Fallen of the White Dragon. We'll go for Fuelos, which forces them onto the Dogmatica Ecclesia line. They'll use it to get a copy of the Fallen of the Virtuous, go to the end step, use the effect of the Dragon that Devours the Dogma for the Fallen of the Virtuous to eat this Walbaz, send a copy of Albion, trigger the Albion in order to set a Retribution, and then afterwards trigger the Titaniclad. We will force to hand because of our second copy of Fuelos. They'll add the Walbaz to grip, and we will draw for turn. Terror Top's actually not so bad. We'll activate the effect of the Terror Top on field, grab ourselves a Marble Machine, then normal the Marble Machine, activating its effect for a Darumanocker. We'll go Darumanocker here for Denden Daiko Duke in the graveyard on our way to Fast Dragon, trigger the Darumanocker here, and then pop that copy of Ecclesia. We'll activate Scratch, pitching a Duplicate, then we can activate the Duplicate, targeting the Marble Machine. After that, our opponent's going to go for the Fallen of the Virtuous, targeting our Duplicate, sending a copy of Rinbroom, then activating it to bring back Walbaz. Walbaz triggers on field. They will grab an Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, which translates into a Fallen of Walbaz. They'll use it to make a Mirror Jade, and it's time for the second push. We'll go for Tekatomborg here. We'll use its effect to get a copy of Red-Eyed Dice from deck. We will link off into a Rubber Band Shooter, fine fodder for the Mirror Jade. We'll scale Colonel Clackers here and special summon out this Speedroid Terror Top as we activate the effect of the Colonel Clackers for a Wing Synchron, bringing back Fast, who is a Pendulum, then Synchro summoning a Clear Wing Synchro as well. We'll summon out another Colonel Clackers and trigger the effect of the Denden Daiko Duke for a 4 on our way to High Speedroid Clear Wing Rider, which enables us to flip 3. Our opponent's going to go for Mirror Jade here as we go for Glider number 2, bring back the Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and make Over Dragon. This should be more than enough. Even though they can activate the effect of this Bestial Magnamut in their hand, we can negate it with the Crystal Clear Wing over Synchro Dragon so they don't have a blocker, enabling us to get in for a ton of damage here. 67 after the Colonel Clackers. So it's time for Game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing What Else But Cool Tune, and well, we're going second. The good news is we have a Dominus Purge. The bad news is we're going second. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Rico. They'll activate the effect of the Rico for a Rotary, and then Linkro off for a Cool Tune Track Maker. They'll trigger the effect of the Track Maker and the Rotary here. They do get to see the grip, and they will add from deck to hand a KTS. They'll go JJ Cool Tune here, use the extra normal on a Q, then trigger the effect of the Q in order to grab an Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, which of course they can cycle. They'll go Q here to look at the top of our deck, and ooh, we are not going to get to keep that Marble Machine. They will give us the Darumanocker, which is terrible news, and then they will cycle this Ash Blossom and Joy Spring for a copy of Mix. That enables them to get to Remix and set 2 before passing. We will draw for turn. It's unsurprisingly Darumanocker. We'll activate it sending a Duplicate. They will activate Remix, and then they'll activate the effect of Zaylin to negate our Darumanocker. Oh my god, did they forget about the called by? We'll negate the Remix, and now we kind of have full reign here. We'll go Scratch and a Terror Top, trigger the effect of the Terror Top in order to grab a copy of Marble Machine, then activate Duplicate, targeting the Terror Top so we can get it to our side of the field on the way to Rubber Band Shooter. They will KTS here, but we can Dominus Purge, forcing one of them out as they go for this second. That KTS is going to grab them a copy of Clip, and then afterwards they can activate the effect of the Clip in order to synchro with the Mix in their hand for Track Maker. That triggers Track Maker, but also triggers Clip and Mix, to which we can respond with Twin Tempests. That will out the entire board, and now we can normal summon Marble Machine. We'll activate the Marble Machine effect for Colonel Clackers, activate the Colonel Clackers, and then activate its effect, banishing the Duplicate for a Speedroid Wing Synchron. Let's make a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Clackers for another Clackers, and from here we can make Rubber Band Shooter, whose effect has not yet activated. We will use it to get a Denden Daiko Duke and a Red-Eyed Dice into rotation as we go for Denden Daiko Duke and go to the battle phase for 1,000, 1,000, 25, and 29. A little off until you remember we can always push through with Colonel Clacker's face-up effect. Probably weren't supposed to win that one, but we're definitely not supposed to win this one. We are going second once again, and then we have a Forbidden Crown and a Shinna. They do have, well, 3 pieces of non-engine and full combo. All right, they're going to go mix in a Q, trigger the effect of the Q. They will summon out a Nash Blossom Joyous Spring and then make a copy of Trackmaker. That's going to trigger the Q and the Rotary and the Trackmaker in order to grab this KTS and probably a JJ and look at the top 2 cards of our deck. It's Ash and DARUMAKNOCKER. Down goes the DARUMAKNOCKER, and they said you can have Ash. Okay, JJ into Zaylin into JJ into special summon out a Rico, then trigger the effect of the Rico in order to grab from deck to hand this copy of Mix. They'll make a remix, set 2, and pass. Once again, we'll draw for turn. It's Ash, big surprise. We'll go Marble Machine. They will Solemn Judgment. Okay, well, that is unfortunately the end of our turn. They're going to go for Rico and back-to-back in the end step, popping our Forbidden Crown, and then they'll draw for turn. Isn't going to take much to beat us here. Extra normal for Q, I think, is literally enough. Let's just scoop it up. So it's time for that all-important Game 3, and Jesus, talk about 5 hand craps and a 0-card Sharder. Our hand looks good, but probably can't play through that. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Perulia. We will, I guess, play into it. We have DARUMAKNOCKER. We'll activate the effect. They'll draw a card. We'll go for Duplicate here. We'll summon it back, and then afterwards they'll Fool us. I mean, this is just the biggest weakness of the strategy. When interrupted by the Charmies, there's just not a lot you can do. Our opponent's going to go JJ Cool Tune. They'll activate Illusion Gate here. That's going to wipe our board and give them the DARUMAKNOCKER. Then, because it's a tuner, they contribute it for a Mix. Mix here is going to grab from deck to hand, powerful Cool Tune monster, after which we can fire off this Droll and Lockbird, but it's not all bad. We did get our DARUMAKNOCKER back. They'll normal summon a Rico, activate the effect to get from grave, and make RS. They'll trigger the effect of the Rico, targeting our Clearwing Wonder, and get in for 29 and 3. They will go to the end phase with a Harmonia in hand. We'll draw for turn. That's a damn good one. We'll special out a Terror Top and activate its effect for a copy of Denden Daiko Duke. Then we'll DARUMAKNOCKER, sending a Red-Eyed Dice. They'll go for Remix here. We will go for the Twin Tempests in order to bounce the board. Afterwards, they will be able to summon back the Rico and use its effect to grab a copy of Mix. We will scratch here to grab a Colonel Clackers and summon out a Terror Top. They will Bell here, and oh my god, that does it. Oh, but for the Bell. All right, well, let's scale Colonel Clackers. We'll activate its effect. We'll set Wing Synchron. Maybe we can prevent them from going off next turn. Colonel Clackers for Colonel Clackers will enable us to get to Rubber Band Shooter. Then we'll activate the effect into, yeah, this was never going to happen. Phydralius Harmonia is going to contest the Clear Wing, and though we do get to resolve the effect of Rubber Band Shooter, it's not long for this world. We'll scoop it up. So we're back with the deck, and man, I hate being right. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, well, DARUMAKNOCKER is really good. It gives the deck a fair amount of new lines, it allows us to access Duplicate for extra extension, and it helps break boards when used for synchro material. 2, the deck gets to play a nice suite of non-engine, including Dominus Purge and even Harmonia, though doing that turns off multiple lines. And 3, Georgius is good for the end board. The Graveyard Floodgate is impossible to play through for some strategies. And the cons. 1, the big one, the deck really doesn't have a Fua end board at all. The Overframe in November massively improves the deck and also gives it a Fua line, but as of now, you kind of need an engine-heavy hand to maybe get to 1 or 2 interrupts off 2 draws, or just to open non-engine and pray. 2, the deck has an obvious weak point in Rubber Band Shooter. Most of your combos revolve around using Rubber Band to get one of your one-of combo pieces, so if your opponent negates it or removes it with Hyper-Invoked Aeon, you're just left with an underwhelming board and an inability to combo as you haven't found Red-Eyed Dice or more extension. 3, the deck is also kind of bricky. It has a lot of one-ofs that aren't good starters and are awkward to open, like Duplicate and Wing Synchron, so a lot of hands just feel weaker than the ones with Terror Top. Overall, DARUMAKNOCKER gives the deck some more gas, but we're still patiently waiting for the Overframe before the deck is going to be able to reach the starting line. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. These videos are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, the fine patrons over at patreon.com, some of whom have paid top dollar to be mentioned at the end of this episode. They are, in alphabetical order, #UnbanMeowmoo, 116 Gaming, Absolutely Fran, Elena Tincher, Allison Elliott, Ally, Asdagophagus, APK, Pearly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Cap, Silentia, Cool Name, Dark Rebel Xyz, Diego Santos, El Gravo, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Era Rizuku, Fabrizio Petroli, Galactic Joey, Hongo Parongo, Hergalicious, Jackie Z, JP, Legal Rights, Lil Dip, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, Matthew M. Derezo, MBT Hablando en Español, MBT Play Madolce, Mike Carlotti, Mochichi, N54 Lionheart, Nacho, New Kira, Newly, Pan Paladin, Pombo, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Roy Says By Erasure is Gay, Who's Nick, Yuki Kazami, 0365, and Zircon Sun. I couldn't have done it without you.